Hi. What did I send him then? I hope this is what I just. Oh shit! Don't look at your email.
I didn't.
So how do you know it's on this link?
Well, I looked at the email, but I didn't look at the.
Oh right.
In fact, I tell you, I saw a name. I was like, well, I don't know who that name is.
At the top.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not the person.
Oh, right, okay.
The name was in the. I was that close to balls it up because I've kept it secret, and I just thought I don't know how I'm going to balls it up, but I'm going to tell you before the guest comes on.
Right.
Today
we've got a surprise guest. Well, I don't. It's a surprise to me. I don't know who the guest is.
Yeah, and I organised it. When did I organise it?
We're definitely on the right link. I don't know what link you sent them. Because the one that was in my Zoom that was for today at 9 o'clock was the one that I was on.
Well, it doesn't matter, does it?
No, just...
Yeah, I just knew it balls up somehow. I don't know how I did that. Anyway. Yeah, sorry,
go on. Weird.
Yeah, so I managed to book this guest... Oh, no, my thing's playing up.
Fuck, and I've just realised what fucking hat I'm wearing. Is this all right? Jesus.
Well, look at my wall. Look how bleak my wall
I'm more
looks.
disturbed by the hat. Oh, fuck it. We're quirky.
We bring a certain energy, don't we? That's what we do.
Yeah, oh no, but I think they're going to go, oh.
I sort of...
Yeah.
Yeah, take the hat off. Why'd you have to walk off to take your hat off? Why have you gone? Oh, you swapped hats. That's better. Yeah, with a pipe, yeah. Yeah, that's fine. It's sort of... I woke up this morning and think it's got sort of stressful having a guest.
You tell me, you're fucking telling me, boy. I don't know who it is.
Well, I'm like, I hope.
Am I working? Hello, testing.
Yeah. Hello, yeah. This is so weird. We're so anxious for everything to be right because we've got a guest. I'm like, I hope you like this person, and I hope that the conversation. I'm so needy.
I think I'm gonna faint. I can't see.
Well, it's
like literally anyone. I'd faint. I think.
Well, I also said to Petra, I said,
I don't like it actually. I feel like it needs to be a grade. Go on. Sorry.
Yeah, well, I was sort of hoping that. Well, I still don't quite believe they're going to come on, but I don't know why that.
Is it Bono?
Well, it's not Bono, is it?
I love Sting to pop up.
Well, don't do this because there'll be like a. If you're sort of aiming for David Beckham, obviously.
I'm not aiming. I'm not aiming. Hello. Just make.
Hello. Testing. Hello. We've got a guest. Testing. Bono's coming on. Testing. But
can you tell me what they do?
No. Well, I've got their Wikipedia page up currently.
Is it big? Is it dense?
Is it dense?
Or is there a lot of paragraphs?
Yeah, there's a lot of paragraphs.
Is there? I can't. I just think it's Peter Andre.
Is it dense? You don't have a dense Wikipedia page, mate.
So I'm just... What? My tummy's going all funny. My tummy's going funny. And I know I'm just suddenly going to see the name Cheryl Baker or whatever and go, what the fuck?
I don't want to do this again. I'm really not enjoying it.
It's worse for me.
Well, it's not great for me because I've set it up and I feel like anything could go wrong and it'd be my fault.
You've got to steer this shit.
I know. Well, I'm not good as a host.
Yeah, you are.
No,
you come
I'm not.
alive.
No, I don't. Well, I think I do, but not in a very...
I think you should have your own chat show, like a quirky left field chat show.
I think I let myself down when I
reckon you'd have a seat and there'd be a coffee table between you and your guests. You'd wear your trainers and you put your trainers on the coffee table and...
I'd be... Like, you're working out how I would try and turn the format upside down like a proper wanker. All my guests have to come on and bring a plant.
I feel like doing a big shit. God, God almighty, I can't cope with surprises.
It's 2 minutes till the person comes on, I think.
I feel a bit...
Yeah, I know. I do.
What if I faint? Just...
Well, hopefully we'll capture it. It's all about the hits.
I really want to do a shit. Sorry, everyone. Sorry, everyone.
This is terrible.
I can't help it.
I just want to do a poo.
I just want to sit on the toilet.
They come on, he goes, sorry. Well, you'll just have to do it. There.
Fuck off.
Have they arrived?
Morning, David.
Hello, Dermot.
Hello, Joe. Hello, David. How are you?
Very good.
I really need a shit down, but...
Oh, David, go for a shit. I'm not in a hurry.
We're a bit. He's a bit overexcited and nervous, and it's all.
But the thing is, no, David, if you don't go now, then it's just you're just going to be thinking about it.
I am. Whilst trying to keep you happy.
Exactly. I don't want you worrying about any of that. You've got a lovely cap on.
Where are you going?
Me? I'm going for shit.
Oh, God.
Oh my God! Thank you.
Oh, welcome, Dermot.
Oh, thanks for having us, lad. Listen, David, seriously, I'm not in a hurry, so if you really want to go, you should go.
Genuinely.
Yeah, I don't mind.
No one knows what to do.
I can't go. That's not
Are
on.
you sure?
Parkinson
Hold on.
never does that.
No,
Hey,
Parkinson never does that.
Parkinson never does that.
they just hold the roll.
They hold it.
Wow, what a pleasure to have you on board.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Yeah,
I can't wait. I want to talk about American. I know you want to talk about TV presenting, but I want to talk about American football.
Yeah, I can talk about. Yeah, I can talk about that till the cows come home.
You guys are into it now, aren't you?
Yeah, but I'm only into it through the computer. No, I am into it. I've been watching the highlights.
You can
Are
talk
you
about
into it?
this like on air if you want. I don't mind.
Yeah, no, well,
Yeah, I don't.
Are we on air now?
yes, yeah, if that's all right.
Yeah, of course. That's what I did realise when I listened to the podcast. Is it doesn't really start or finish, does it? Just sort of,
No, it drags, doesn't
in
it?
the loveliest possible way, you meander into it, which I really like.
Yeah, Dermot, Joe's a little bit embarrassed about his plastered wall.
Oh, don't worry. I've just moved in. We moved in a few months ago, so we're in Boxageddon still.
Oh
so.
yeah,
Okay.
I look like I'm sort of in a squat, and you deserve better.
No, Joe, you know what you look like? It looks like you're in a lovely rambling kind of palazzo in Italy, and this sort of very call me by your name kind of vibes.
Oh yeah, I wish I'd said that. Yeah.
Yeah?
I'm just here for a couple of weeks while I'm
Exactly.
chilling out. Yeah.
I imagine you're doing a bit of writing.
Yeah, tinkering with an old motorbike. That
Yeah,
kind of thing.
exactly. You cycle in and, play dominoes with the men in the village, that kind of
My
thing.
God, I love my life.
Yeah,
My
you've got a
pretend
great life.
Yeah.
I've just realised I've acted with you, Dermot, and you don't remember for the life of you.
If it's acting, then it'd be a very broad definition for me.
And I remember all day I was like, I just want to be his friend in real life.
Oh, we
That's so
spoke
nice.
about this the other day, didn't we?
What was it, David?
It was Derek, the pilot.
Oh, yeah, it was so fun.
In the pilot.
That was at the like a TA centre, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it. That's where we filmed it.
Swiss
Yeah.
Cottage, Hampstead. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
you-
that was,
yeah.
So that was literally. Is that when Derek first? That was literally. Was that TX or non TX?
That was TX, yeah.
Oh, was it? Wow.
Yeah. I think Ricky won a little award for that. But yeah, it was you and Baby Spice. And I
Yeah,
was
it's a
just like-
Mabanta, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, how do I worm my way into there?
I think we spoke about this for about 15 minutes the other day. David was going, all the time I was thinking, how do I get over there? How do I mingle with Dermot O'Leary?
You should have just come over. The thing is, if you turn up for filming, you sort of know your fair game, and you know that it's no one's taking it. Like Emma is lovely; she doesn't take herself seriously at all. So
No.
if Ricky calls you and says, "Do you want to do a cameo?" You know that you know what the deal is. So
Yeah.
that sort of person that's going to turn up isn't the sort of person to take himself too seriously.
No. Well, you're on Chatterbox now, mate.
Yeah, why on earth are you doing this?
Wow, where do we start with you?
Yeah, well,
American
Yeah.
football.
American football.
Are you
Yeah.
a big American football fan, then, Dermot?
Yeah, weirdly, I grew up in Colchester, which is about 60 miles northeast of London, and my parents came over from Ireland in 1968, and so they stayed in London for a while. And so London always sort of felt like home as well, but they moved out to Colchester before I was born, and then we'd come back every 2 weeks and spend in this kind of weird sort of north-west London enclave. So it'd be like old ladies and pubs and crisps and coke, and sort of Irish but not Irish, and really weird upbringing. But in Colchester, where I grew up, I loved rugby and I loved American football because all the air bases over there from the Second World War were still going. So loads of Americans. So when and it goes in a bit of a meander this, but when the English teams got banned from Europe, there was Channel 4 bought the rights for American football. So there was this big rise in people watching American football.
Yeah, I remember.
And then playing American football. So I got into it because we got coached by all these American clubs, and there was this big national league. So I played from the age of about 14 to probably just in my late 20s, and then I couldn't do it.
Did you?
Yeah, I loved it.
How?
Yeah, there's quite a keen kind of amateur league over here.
What position did you play?
Well, I don't want to get too deep now, lads.
Well, I want to see if I understand it.
Yeah,
okay.
Because I'm learning the positions.
In my head, you're a quarterback.
But there are so many reasons why I like the game. So I played no quarterback so hard. That's by far and away the worst. But I played quarterback once when everyone else was injured, and it's just awful.
Why is it so hard? Is it dangerous?
As soon as you get the ball, everyone wants to kill you, and you've got to make decisions. So even at that level, like an amateur level, you have to make decisions so quickly. And so either you give the ball to a running back, but that involves a bit of deception because you don't want people to think you're giving the ball to a running back who's going to run and try and get as many yards as he can. Or you're going to pass the ball, at which point you have at least 4 people who are out to just hunt you down and tackle you and hurt you, and you've got a myriad of people. Then you're looking at your guys going, right, you're going over there, you're going, and I can't throw the ball either. So I was literally like,
you're the worst.
You sound crap.
So I played receiver or running back, or I was always quite good, sort of quite fast, but only with the ball in my hand. I was never really like an out and out sprinter, but I was quite jinxy.
But surely as a running back you get battered.
You do, but the thing is, your offensive linemen are making a hole for you. So the whole point is, so you'll get a play called, you'll sit in the huddle and they'll go, right, I know, 36 sweep. And that means that, right, I know the hole I'm going to is the 6. So the holes are like 2. So you've got the center and the guard and then the tackle. So the hole will be like, that's the 2 hole, that's the 4 hole, that's the 6 hole. And then 3 will be something to do with the tactics or whatever. So, or it could just be arbitrary. So I know, and another sweep means I'm going around the side. So I know that there's a guy. So that's why it's so intricate. The guard who's next to the centre, who's a guy that snaps the ball, they have to be slightly smaller because they've got to be quite agile. So he'll pull, so he'll come around and he'll be my main guy in front of me. So he's sort of punching a hole and I can get through. And then it's all about burst of speed. So you get through that hole and then you've got to go as quick as you can before someone hits you.
Do the opposing when you've got your 36 or your little tactics, the opposing team understand that at all, or are they guessing?
Do, and they're going. They're sort of. I mean, I never played defence, but they're kind of going right. We'll set up like their coach or their captain will go right. We're setting up a 4-3 or something. So because we need bigger guys on the front, or it's a lot more intricate as you get more professional, of course. But even at an amateur level, you'd be set up to sort of try and combat that. So if you're playing against someone who's a really good running back, then all your sort of resources, I guess, or you make sure your best players are kind of marking that player. But the reason why I really like it is in America is such a we all know America. It's the market's king, and it's kind of money talks and success, and you've got this weirdly sort of anachronistic socialist game in American football because every single team gets the same amount of money every year.
Oh, did they?
So
I didn't know that.
So if you're and also the worst team get the best draft. So if you are, Jacksonville, for example, finished worst this year and worst last year, and now they will, because of that, they will to even it up to make it as level as possible. They will then have, unless they trade their draft pick, i.e., give me one of your good players and I'll give you the first round of the draft. They will get the first round, so they'll be able to pick the best player coming from college, if they can agree terms, they'll pick that player and that player will go and play for Jacksonville. So it's not like Manchester United or Liverpool go, we want to buy you. That can happen. We want to buy you. It's like, the best player goes to the worst team every year.
They can only spend a certain amount. They can only spend a certain amount.
Everyone has to spend the same amount of money.
Oh, that's brilliant. We should do that over here.
So,
That'd be amazing.
Completely, it would make football so much more fair. So it levels everything out theoretically, but then then it's all about general management. So you've got to be really good at contracts. So if you bet 5 years on a quarterback and go, we're going to get this guy because he was amazing in college, and then you sign him for after 1 year, you then go, well, fuck, it's brilliant. So we'll sign him now on a massive contract. If suddenly he doesn't deliver and he doesn't become as great as he once was, you're saddled then with someone who's on a massive wage.
Right.
You have to pay your quarterback the most money because they're the most important player.
Right.
And then you can't get rid of. So it's really hard to get him out. And then so a whole sort of 10 years is built around gambling on one person if they're going to be good enough. So that's why it's so fascinating, and such a fair sport in so many ways.
I watched a lot.
Go on, Joe.
I was going to say I watched a lot of these documentaries about it and didn't understand any of that. So I sort of want to go back because there's loads on the draft.
Yeah.
But obviously it's obviously done for American markets. So everyone knows that. So I was watching these big chunks about the draft and not having a clue what the hell that, because they were saying all that stuff. They were swapping. There was one guy, they had the first pick. So they swapped like loads of later picks for the, and I was like, I don't know why you're doing that.
The thing is you would go, well, hang on a minute. We can get. So if you've got a good quarterback, you don't need another quarterback.
Yeah, exactly.
So go, well, in that case, you can have. I don't know. Philadelphia can have our quarterback, or you can have the first round draft pick. We'll take yours later because there are other sort of defenders maybe who we can pick up later on down the line because they're not going to be picked up too early.
And the college football looked like it was mental. It looked like it was 100,000 people in a stadium to watch. So what age are they? Like 18?
I guess they're 18 to. I guess they're our university year. But it's insane, and people keep with. I'm not a massive into, even though it's brilliant. I'm not. I don't know too much about the college game in terms of how it's run. But you get hundreds of thousands of people will turn up to. Something like the Big 8 or whatever it is, and they are.
But they're small towns, and
that for life.
Everyone, it looks like everyone from the town and surrounding towns on a Friday night or whenever, everyone goes there because there's no other way. The town must be empty because in this thing I was watching, it was like this little Midwest town. Yeah. And it showed the population was like 18,000. Yeah. And then they're just panning along. And then there's this enormous stadium that's like 85,000 in this middle of nowhere. And they just fill it every week.
It's brilliant. I mean, American towns. Do you guys ever watch Friday? I'll tell you what's a great entry level. It's Friday Night Lights. I don't know if you ever saw it, but it's no. It's wonderful. It's sort of it's a drama about a high school football team, but it can go more intricate than college. So you can just get those small towns that live and die on how people do in high school. So that's the local football team essentially.
Right.
So they can support it. I don't know if you guys saw Mayor of Easttown. There was a similar kind of.
Yes, I did. Yeah,
with Kate Winslet, where she was, that generation. That was the basketball team of that generation, and then those girls 20 years later.
Yeah, and you're sort of like held in high regard forever because they won the state.
And sort of, but at the same time, kind of crystallized by it, sort of defined by it, which is quite something when you're that age, I suppose.
I mean, I'm very attracted by attracted to the helmets and the muscles.
Oh yeah.
You know, come on.
They look good. They talk the talk.
It's a party. It looks amazing.
Well, America do entertainment. They don't do sport, do they? They do entertainment.
Did Colchester do entertainment?
Yeah, because like no other.
I have to admit, when you were saying about all this,
party like a Colchester gladiator party.
Have you seen that E17 documentary?
E17 up from Colchester.
Well, no, but they did a gig. They tried to get back together without Tony.
Oh, look at this!
And the documentary ends with them at a gig at a Colchester nightclub.
Yeah.
And Brian says, "Good evening, Colchester," and then it cuts to black.
I.e.,
you can't get much higher than that. They're back.
The mistake there was without Tony. What are they thinking of?
I know.
Without Tony.
There's my American football helmet from when I played.
God, that's got some dents in it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, you see there's documentaries about concussion. I sort of see those and wince because I go, I mean, this is a really old, rickety. It was like third hand when I got it. When I was about.
It looks like it's made
How
out
many
of wood.
injuries are there? Are there like a lot of early retirements?
Yeah, you don't. It's more your knees that you and your ankles and that sort of stuff, rather than because the padding sort of prevents you from getting serious injury. I've been concussed a couple of times, definitely. You get. I tell you, there's always the thing is when you always play against one American, and the one American are so good that wherever you are.
Well,
like you're like, oh, he's over there. He won't be anywhere near me. And before you know it, you've got the ball. And next thing you know, just on your ass going, how did he get from there to here so quickly? And why do I hurt so much now?
Well, I was thinking, when you were saying about all that technical stuff, I was thinking, what is that 11 blokes from Colchester going, okay, wide right, 6 into the pocket. Okay, Terry, off you go. It's not going like...
Pretty much. But that's what I mean. We were coached by Americans from an early age. So we sort of got it from an early age. Whereas, look, put it this way, we were coached by an English guy the first year when I was playing junior level. And we went a whole year. Not only did we not win a game, we didn't score a point. It was so bad.
But you kept going, right?
Well, yeah, it was one of the sort of, I know it's going to sound really like quite schmaltzy, but it's actually one of the defining moments of my life, that, because no one quit and we were about 15. So it's that age where you go, do I really want to be doing this? 15 years old and just like being humiliated every week.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, turns out,
I like being humiliated, turns out. And now I took that into adult life.
I love that your quarterback was probably a milkman or something.
and then this American called Doug Kenyon turned up, and he just sort of, and we won every year.
What did he do? What did he change? Like you knew what you were doing.
He just taught us. He went, here's how you tackle. He'd make it really basic. So it was always like the mantra was always keep it simple, stupid.
What qualifications did the English chap who was like coaching you have? Like none, basically.
None.
Was he watching like The Fridge on Channel 4?
He just watched the Chicago Bears from 1985 and thought, hang on a minute. I remember he swore a lot, and I remember my dad came down once. My dad is not a prude, but I remember he was swearing at us, like, to go and F and do this and go and F and do that. My dad, unbeknownst to me, took him aside and told him off for swearing at children. And then it came back to me that he'd done that, and I was so embarrassed. And I had to suck at my dad. I went, you can't do this. You can't come and tell people. And then actually, in retrospect, I just go, well done, Dad, because that was actually a really responsible, the right thing to do. Yeah.
Yeah. I said to Joe, I used to have a cricket manager who used to swear at me and make me cry in the Sussex semi-final.
The amount you bring that up from.
Not good, is it?
I've got to let that go.
Oh, no, but that's not good. No, I get why you bring it up, though. That's the funny moment of your life.
But like, it's almost every second or third day.
I understand, you know.
It's like, I know you cried when you were 15 and it was embarrassing, but we just got to get on with stuff. Dermot's on.
Yes.
How did you guys come to do this then? What was the origins of Chatterbox?
Yeah, good question. Well, it's because
that's a great question.
Yeah, which we ask ourselves every day.
Don't pull that thread.
Yeah, we'll unravel in front of you. We write together and have done for years. And the first hour essentially is us just not working and just talking. And so we decided to record it, and sort of a huge part of us wish we hadn't.
And then you go off and you write for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. But what's happened is I don't know how to edit, so David spends a massive chunk of the morning editing afterwards. Well, not even we don't edit stuff out, but you just have to do lots of stuff, and then he's exhausted, so it comes back on with a headache.
When I listened the other day
I hate that you listen to it.
Yeah, I'm finding that unnerving, but I'm pretending it's absolutely fine.
When I listened to the cricket personal trainer chat, the one thing I thought was, wow, this is really, really like tightly edited. That's the one.
Thank you.
Edited's not the word. Yeah. Yeah. We discuss quite a lot why we're not going up. We're not getting more popular. That kind of drains people, apparently.
Including our guests.
Yeah. But the reason I really wanted to get you on them is, like, in episode 3, we discussed you for a huge amount of time. I don't know if you heard about how.
I didn't hear that. No. For the best. Because
we were talking about, like, we sort of talked about doing this and how what it'd be like, the pressure it would be like to sort of host like a radio show or something like that, where, because we have huge chunks where we just go,
yeah, it can't be asked.
and you can't be asked, and just go,
Yeah.
oh God, how long have we done? And then we started talking about how if you were doing it live on radio and blah blah blah, you couldn't do that. And then we got on to the X Factor, and David had read somewhere that you used to get in your ear like, okay, Dermot, we've got 2.5 minutes here.
Yeah.
And basically, we sort of had a mini breakdown imagining having to do that. And it's sort of become a reoccurring thing that we've spoken about. But is that true? You just go, right, get on. You've got 1.5 minutes before Little Mix come on.
Pretty much, yeah. So
don't you feel like sick the whole time?
When I first started on T, this is years ago on T4. So this is way back in 1999. Yeah, 1998, 1999. Andy Peters, who was in charge of T4 at the time, and everyone thinks of Andy now as the competition guy on sort of daytime telly, but he was a really good commissioning editor. And he sort of gave me my first break. Really, he came up with the idea of T4 for Channel 4, which was largely just sort of continuity based around kind of hangover TV, but he was responsible. He was across everything, so he helped get the acquisition, so he'd help like buy Dawson's Creek and stuff like that for Channel 4. He was the exec producer on T4. He was pretty nifty studio director as well, so he could direct music in the studio, so he'd do live directing. And he made us, when we started, go on. So you have talk about you got your in-ear, your monitor, and that's largely for a producer to guide you through a big live show. So you either have switch, which is they'll speak to you when they're good and ready, but other than that, they leave you alone. Or you've got open, where you hear everything. And Andy insisted that all his presenters had open and it made so much sense in retrospect. And now I can't work without open talkback, which is you hear 5 people talking all the time in your ears. But what it does do is when you're doing a big live show, it preempts you. If something goes wrong, you're 5 seconds ahead of someone on Switch talkback, because you're hearing stuff going wrong, and you're going, okay, well, they can produce me as much as I like, but really it's up to me to get out of that. And so if you work one camera's down, you know that. I'll give you an example. I came out I did a live final on the X Factor, and this poor kid was supposed to be me, aged 8, and I forget we were doing like a sort of a number, and he was supposed to do one. That's it. He was supposed to say, your Saturday night starts right here. And I go, that's my line, you cheeky little tyke. And then I kick him up the bum, and he disappeared, something like sort of Oliver sort of style. And we'd rehearsed it, and he was really nervous. And we came out, and the autocue had gone down live from the start of the final. Jesus. And the poor kid looked at me like, you're the responsible adult here. You promised me this wouldn't be happening. And now and so, we got through that. But then there was no autocue for pretty much for the first 5 to 10 minutes of the show. So I had to go all on muscle.
Well, hold on. 5-10 minutes to fill, and everything's gone down.
Yeah, but I knew in my head, because I'd rehearsed, and it's not, don't get me wrong, it's not War and Peace, but I used to go in on a Wednesday, and David Baddiel's brother Ivor, so I write with Ivor.
Right. I don't know. No.
So I was a really good, funny writer. He does comedy as well, but he's really good entertainment writer. So me and Ivor, for years, me and Ivor would go in on a Wednesday and largely do what you guys do in terms of like talk for an hour, have some lunch, and then write the script.
Yeah.
And so by the time Saturday came around, I wouldn't say I knew it off by heart, but because you never want to know it off by heart, because you want to be able to ad-lib around it. And that's and I think an autocue was always there as your guide, you shouldn't be reading it verbatim all the time. You should be using it as a kind of like, a kind of ins and outs and your punctuation. But you know it well enough that you can play in a sandpit. So luckily, even though it was a live final, the autocue had gone down, but I knew that, okay, I know I've got to move over there, intro the judges, I know who's coming on the show, so we can busk all this. But by 5-10 minutes, they were able to kind of like fix the autocue and get it going. But my point is that without that, they didn't know there was a problem in my ear for 3 to 4 of those minutes. So if you had sort back, I'd be waiting on them to tell me what to do. Whereas I had open and went, well, they don't know there's an issue here, so I've just got to deal with it myself.
How many people are watching?
At home?
Yeah, because that's the biggest show on TV. So that you're talking like 12 million or
Well,
something.
then we were still big. Then we, because obviously it tailed off towards the end. But then I think that final was a good 6 or 7 million. But it was more the fact. It's more the fact that it's the 5 people in your ear. So you've got your producer, who's like largely your wingman, and you're their wingman. So you're making the show together, like as a live host or presenter, and then you've got your director, who's telling you what shots you're on. Then you've got your script supervisor, PA, who's telling you how long you've got left.
This is mental. I don't know if you're going to, at the end of this, you go, I'm absolutely bullshitting you.
You are so...
None of that's going on. No, it's not live, and we just take ages.
Yeah. So you've got someone counting you down. When you're live, you've got someone counting you down at the end.
What?
So they're going, you've got 30 seconds left, you've got 20 seconds left, you've got 10 seconds left. So you have to finish talking when they finish getting to.
I can't get I don't know how you do it. Just go, yeah.
Well, we did a joke one, honestly, and like I had to, like, David pretended he was going, okay, and I just like I joked. We sort of joked, but I was like going, I wanted to say stop talking. Let me just. I've got a minute. I'll look at my watch if I need to.
There are times though where sometimes you get like someone who's quite overzealous, and you do sort of, you end up saying yeah a lot, but you're sort of not saying yeah to the audience or the person who interview. You're saying yeah to the person, and you're in your ear. So going a minute, and you go yeah. No.
So Little Mix looked like you just had a pop at them.
Exactly. Well, Little Mix are like, we're just telling you when the album's out.
So when X Factor was at its biggest, were you hungry to do the show on a Saturday, or was there a part of you who's like, oh Jesus Christ?
Oh no, so exciting.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I'd have a panic attack.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, it was. I mean, Holly Willoughby Holly did the Extra Factor for a year, and she put it so well where because you've got these massive doors that seam dock doors that come back, and they're all lit up, and for you hear when we were at our peak, you'd hear the music go, and you'd hear the crowd be so loud, it was like an amphitheatre, and you'd hear the da 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 da, and the door, and you're like, fuck, this is all on me, but like.
No.
5 minutes. And Holly put it so well, she's looking around at the scene doc guys or the lighting guys going, I don't want to do it, you do it. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But those 30 seconds before you go live are actually the best 30 seconds of the night. So it's the breath before the leap, you know, it's that moment where you go, Jesus Christ.
I just want to be a plumber in that moment.
You're in there, you know?
Oh, God. I genuinely think.
So you guys must have had that with like stand up. You must have been in.
But not that everything's on
but
you.
I guess it is the same sort of thing, Joe. Once you're used to it.
Yeah, I guess so. But I think it's the idea of juggling lots of balls. Like the stuff we do, it's just like one thing. Go on and do this for 10 minutes.
And it's for yourself.
Yeah.
If you cock up, that's sort of,
and it's not, you're not juggling, but the idea of things sort of changing and just someone going like this has gone down. And when you said camera 5's gone down, I'll just go, well, I'm out. Well, I don't know, do I? Well, come on.
And to be fair, most of the gigs are like 30 people in a pub in.
Yeah, and it does go wrong, and you just go, oh, well, I'm not getting booked there again.
Yeah. That's interesting. You say that because I wanted to be an actor and I wanted to be a comedian. I wasn't good enough to be an actor or funny enough to be a comedian, but there are elements of both of those gigs within the job you do. So you've got to be active, and which is where the sort of comedic thing, arguably, if people find you funny or not, so it's not the point. But you've got to be reactive when people, go off the back of that. But a lot of that you can't really learn. You've either got that or you haven't. But the technicality of it is something that's quite. Of those, like, not even the big live shows. On This Morning, I do This Morning now on Fridays. There's 2.5 hours of live telly every Friday. Yeah, and that is, and that's you are gear changing between a lot of different subjects, and so that's that the technicality of that is the technicality of the job is a thing that I think not many people and when you do the job you can spot. That's when people go, oh, they're rubbish on telly. It always annoys me because I'm like, no, they're really not. You might not like them. That's a different one together, but. When you see another live presenter that does a big 2.5 hour live show, they're not easy things to do.
No.
And you've got to be so disciplined. You've never said to a guest, "I need to go and have a shit" on This Morning. I'm pretty sure you haven't.
I think it'd have made the news.
I'm pretty sure you haven't.
It's my opener.
Yeah.
So when you do the radio, it must be like an hour off compared to all this.
Radio. The thing about radio, though, I was, so I do radio too, and I've been there a long time now. And radio is interesting because radio, you get found out a lot quicker, as in people know who you are, what you think, what you believe, implicitly, not like deliberately, but people. Radio there's a lot more legal. I've got a problem with that. I'm a pretty open book, like in terms of what I like and what I don't like, and so forth. But and I'm largely quite, I think empathy and being able to live and let live is sort of a huge part of doing live stuff and people and actually putting yourself out there. So I mean, empathy and curiosity are the two most important things I think in radio and TV hosting. So radio is interesting because it's a lot more what you don't say than what you do say. I remember I went to my first ever. This was like back in the day when Radio 2 had loads of money, and they took their old school talent out for dinner. And I'd started there, and I was sort of talking to Radio 1 and Radio 2 at the time. So I started there in my probably early 30s, and people were going, "What are you doing at Radio 2?" But I remember Jonathan had gone to Radio 2. So Radio 2 for me, and Jonathan's always been my hero. So I was like, "Well, that's where I want to be, right? Because I can play the music I want to play." And it took me a long time.
Is it your choice?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, you work. I think Monday to Friday is a bit different, but and you work with a music team there. But I never play anything I don't want to play, and I sort of give them. So we largely pick our own stuff on a Saturday. There's playlists and stuff, but the guys that work on my show go to playlist anyway. So half the time we've helped get on playlist. But so I went to this Razzie dinner, and I was sat next to. I mean, you couldn't write this. So I was sat next to Elaine Page and Lulu, and I was like, "Fucking hell, I've made it, man! This is amazing." And Wogan was on the next table, and Wogan was like my hero growing up, and so I ended up chatting to him, and we talked a little bit about, we both love rugby, so we talked a little bit about Irish rugby, and he was like, "Oh yeah, you're the new boy." And I met him once when I was 8 years old, and when we went to go and see the Wogan show when I was a kid. So all this, it's a huge moment. And anyway, and he says to me, "Listen, I won't give you much advice, but I'll just say one thing: never be afraid of the silence." And it totally stuck with me, and it took me ages to not be afraid of the silence. Actually, because live on air, a silence 3 seconds can seem like an eternity. But he was so, and I speak quite fast anyway, but he was he was master of that. He was master of brevity. So I think that's the important thing on radio is actually talk when you want to talk, but some days you just want to let the music do the talking. Some days you got loads to say.
Yeah.
And actually, and I love talking to listeners because there's now all these shows. There's now As Queer as Folk. Doesn't matter what it's whether it's radio or television or X Factor or This Morning or my radio show or punters are the best people in the world for anecdotes and finding out what other.
Did you ever used to listen to Tommy Boyd on the radio?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, not religiously, but I caught it.
Right, yeah, brilliant. Yeah, and Savile was good. He was pretty good back
He had
in
his
the day.
downsides, but with people, he was something else.
What's interesting about the Savile thing is that obviously.
Did you meet him?
No. Oh no, he came on Big Brother once when I was on Big Brother, and he.
Oh, you did Big Brother, Jesus.
Yeah,
Christ.
and we did like a celebrity takeover, and he came in once. But what's interesting about Savile is obviously no one at the BBC that we knew or anything. But he had, you speak to some of the engineers now who were at the time very young when Savile was there, and now are kind of coming to retirement age, and they all say the same thing, that there was a sort of was almost a kind of an aura about him that you didn't want to get too close to him. It's interesting that they sort of. I think for them it's quite hard to describe, but they said there was never a warmth there. There was always a kind of that you always felt, I don't want to get too close to this guy. I don't know why I don't want to get too close to this guy, but I don't want to get too close to this guy. It's really interesting.
God, well, how long have you got, Dermot?
Oh, I'm here for quarter of an hour?
Yeah.
Is that right?
I forget you did Big Brother as well. Jesus.
Yeah, I mean,
You've done it all.
I know this for a fact because I've got your Wikipedia page open in front of me.
Big Brother was a lot of fun because Big Brother at the time, like you look at those shows now and like the equivalent shows, and no fault of the people going on them, but they're a different generation, so they've grown up essentially watching Big Brother, and so they kids are going into whatever reality show it is, Love Island or whatever, with already a couple of 100,000 Instagram followers and stuff. We had Big Brother, none of that, and even the people that came on towards the latter years when it was a bit more knowing still weren't really like that. They were less,
Were you involved in the very early ones? The very.
I remember we were doing T4 in the first series, and I remember us sitting at having a production meeting, and Andy going, "Listen, we should, it's like Channel 4's big new show. We're not sure if it's going to be successful, but we should talk about it though tonight. What do you think?" And so we sent our researcher Sam to watch it overnight for a night. And she came in just like ashen face, and she just went, I don't know if I just watched the worst thing or the best thing I've ever seen. I was sure. And she said, I've just been up all night watching people talk and sleep and stuff. But she said, but I sort of can't keep my eyes off it. So I'm a little bit, and so we sort of followed it on a weekly basis. And then Andrew Newman, you guys must know Andrew Newman, he worked with Sasha, I think. So he was head of entertainment at Channel 4 the next year, and he called me up and said, look, I've got this idea about doing a daily show about Big Brother. And I was like, really? Do you think that'll work? Because I mean, I was a fan, and obviously doing live telly was the most exciting thing, and still is. And I said, do you think it'll work? And he went, well, let's just, we piloted it. And the first year, and it felt weird because the first show, it was doing a show about a show. So you just thought, but it was so much fun. I still look back at it as some of the most fun I've ever had on telly. And it was 7 years, and you felt like you were really part of a family down there. And, for all the kind of like all Big Brother's been a bit nasty, the contestant welfare was so good. They were so well looked after. And
how small was that? How small was that building that they lived in? Is it tiny?
Well, yes and no. The camera runs, the Warren runs, made it a lot bigger, like physically, but it was quite. I wouldn't be able to do it. It's quite tight. But then everyone that was in it seemed to didn't seem to struggle with the size of it or the claustrophobia.
Right. I had a mate who was a cameraman, and he did all those things, and he said it was unbelievably difficult as a cameraman because you're just like 4 hours on one spot waiting for someone to come into the hallway, and so you've got like an empty hallway for like 3.5 hours, and you're just like,
I know.
It was.
Those boys were like the U-boat crew of TV. They were like, you going under? Good luck, man. And then you'd see him like 2 days later, just without anything.
Because it was all. I remember the bit that blew my mind was when it might have been you. I don't know if it was. Maybe it was you, but took us round that. The corridor that went round the outside of it, that all the staff went down, and there was like little windows where the camera was, and you could just see them in the garden and stuff. That blew my mind. All that.
We used to get in so much trouble because as part of a kind of caveat of people coming on, because quite a lot of quite big famous people wanted to come. I remember Kathy Burke came on because she loved Big Brother. So people would genuinely. It's a lovely thing about it as well. You knew that whoever was coming on your show just loved the show. So. Yeah. It wasn't like no one came on to promo anything. They just came on because they liked Big Brother. So Kathy came on. I don't know if it was her that got spotted, but you'd show them around the camera runs, almost like going to see, going to a zoo or something. So because you would literally, people would just think, oh my God, there's Jade or Kate Lawler or Brian Bellow or someone. Just oh God, they're brushing their teeth, and they'd just be sort of absolutely. And then if you get.
They're brushing their teeth.
If you get too close, they could see you through the mirror. And I forget who it was, but like someone would just like came up really close and went, "Oh my God, is that so and so out there?" And then you think, "I'll just hide." But of course, then they get the whole of the, nothing happens in the house. Then they get the whole of the house, and the house will come up to the mirror, and you think, "Oh, did I get away with that?" And then you think, "No," because there's the whole gallery of people watching right now, and going, "Why are all the housemates up by that mirror? Who's in there? Dermot's in there, right? Yeah, the idiot, and get him out." So, But it was so, Davina and Russell was doing it at the time as well. And so
that relaunched,
really exciting.
Didn't that relaunch Russell Brand, or am I over egging?
Oh, you're absolutely right, it did.
Because he'd sort of been in the wilderness, because he obviously, with his battle with drink and stuff.
Yeah.
And then that was his first job back. And he was incredible, wasn't he?
Oh, my God. It was just...
what was it? Big Brother's Big Brother?
Big Mouth, yeah.
Big
it
Mouth,
was just like... It's like machine gun dialogue. He was so clever. He was brilliant. It was great watching.
I mean, you have given me an idea for like a Chatterbox Big Brother than a Chatterbox. So we release a daily episode of this, and then an hour later
we talk about it.
Someone else talks about it.
Yeah.
Well, you, Dermot, you up for it?
Yeah, I mean,
but it's a big old commitment. You might have to.
What the younger versions of you? Who are the younger versions of the up and coming scene of you guys? Who would you essentially? Who would you want to? I
wouldn't be that rude to anyone.
Just a couple of sexy guys.
Just a couple
of sexy young guys.
Who are the young sexy guys on the scene?
Yeah, well, I think it's still us. I don't think we've lost it. If I'm honest.
No. So when I first started at Radio 2, like that was almost like, I don't know, 19 years ago or something. And I remember when I first started, they were like, who's the new guy, the young guy? And now 19 years later, they're still like, oh, here's the new guy, the young guy.
Yeah. Do you get sent loads of big concept shows? You must see all the big ideas and all that.
Yeah, not so much anymore. Because when you do a show like X Factor, it's quite definitive. So, and actually, I'm not, I want to do some more entertainment, but I know when you do a show like that, you just think, well, I'm not doing that anymore. So I want to do something else.
Yeah.
Which is why, last year was everything from This Morning to a show about pets that I love animals to, I know it's going to sound very Partridge, but a Second World War documentary that I really like. I love history and I love people in history. So it was about that.
Do they come to you and go, we've based this around what you, or have they gone, you know what I mean?
What normally happens is sort of combination of both. So you meet up with people and you're like, I'm lucky enough that, you get meetings and development meetings, and then you start to go, well, I'd like to make something like this. And then you kind of help develop the idea and then shape the idea. And then you hopefully make the idea. And not many of them come off, but every now and again, yeah, you still get a high concept. And I've, more than up for the good stuff. I just want to make good fun work, Well,
me and David have got an idea about.
Oh, now I see the
it's called.
I see the angle. What's it taking us?
It's called Pyramid.
I mean,
do you remember that, David?
It's called Pyramid.
Tell me all about Pyramid.
When you say it out loud, the title, you kind of lose confidence, don't you?
No, I don't. I gain.
It's a pyramid of the mind.
I can't remember what the concept.
I can't remember.
But basically, all I know, the main
it takes about an hour.
The main problem is we had contestants falling through the floor.
Yeah.
And realised that would be dangerous. So, but just stick with it. You open your mind to Pyramid.
I can't remember what it was.
No, we can't remember. But you'll get an email next couple of days when we remember. Well, emails plural. You're going to get bombarded. Now we have your email. I haven't heard back about Pyramid, Dermot.
Yeah.
Got some big farmer vibes there, boys. Pyramid, just as a name, it sounds like something I'm taking.
Yeah, we're thinking Saturday night, maybe replacing X Factor with it.
Okay.
I'll stick it on any day. I don't give a shit.
As long as they make millions of them. I want it to be the new.
You guys, when you sit down now and write, what will you write today? Will you write writing at the moment? Do you do stand up? Do you do sort of material for other people? Are you writing your own ideas? So what's
Well, it's always our own ideas. It's always like sitcoms, basically.
Okay. Will someone else send you a script and go, "Oh, do us a favour, but you two polish this up for me, will you?"
No, it's usually our own ideas, but we are writing something which is a remake of an old Australian show that a company bought the rights for, and then they said, "Do you want to do you want to write this for us?
So they've attached a fantastic name to it.
Yeah,
in the
so-
centre of it. So so we're writing the.
It's funny, or is it like, because all I'm getting in my head, I've got sons and daughters, or flying doctors.
Flying Doctors, I remember Flying Doctors. I remember.
We need to do an episode on the Sullivans.
I love the Sullivans.
Well, you know, this is a regular thing, Dermot. This is this is.
Put me in for Sullivan cast.
Yeah, Sullivan Tuesdays for the next. Let's say 3 months to begin with and see how you get on.
See how we get on. Sullivan's was always when you were ill, you're out. It's like Pebble Mill.
Yeah.
Like
We've done an episode on Pebble Mill, actually, as it goes.
The only reason I know who Ackerbilk was because when you were ill, you were allowed to watch Pebble Mill. Ackerbilk was always on Pebble Mill.
Yeah, it sort of made you feel sick when you thought about it, though, because you only ever felt ill when you watched it. Yeah.
The only time I was ever allowed Lucasade and chicken soup.
Dermot, before we go, I feel like we need to ask you some questions on how to be better.
Yeah, 150%. You've heard some
So you've
stuff.
seen our technique.
Yeah. And be brutal, because you would have heard the episode and probably gone, oh, that's quirky, but that dragged.
Because I'm fed up with being slightly left field. I want to be properly.
We don't want to be niche, because niche means it annoys a lot of people.
Yeah. No. I mean, at least people that like it listen, and people that don't like it don't listen.
Yeah, but we know that 99.9% of the other people that don't listen. How do we get them? How do we rocket up the charts? And I'm absolutely serious, because I'm fed up with being in 42nd place or 32nd bloody place.
Yeah.
I want to be up there with the shag married annoyeds and the off menus. I want to be bumping them.
How do you? Okay,
we're tired a lot, by the way, so that doesn't help.
Listen, but there's no structure to it at all, is there?
No, that's the beauty of it.
No, that is the problem with it. Is what the.
Well, no, I didn't.
Well, I think you both hit the nail on the head.
And we sort of don't get on. Does that help? We have a deep-rooted hatred for each other, and that sometimes spills over. We're fed up with each other, and we can't bear the sight of each other. Is that a problem?
That's all right. A little bit of conflict.
I've got to go. Like, okay. And first start, the theme tune lasts an awful long time.
Yeah, I know. I think that. I always, but I haven't had the guts to tell him, because he's quite defensive about musicy stuff.
But it's like it was like the Rockford Files. It went on. And touchy enough. Don't get me wrong. I'm not as out at the end of it, but
You
start with like. David, hey guys, welcome to another edition of Chat. Today we're going to talk about X, Y, and Z. Oh, you have to do it like that. But would you consider a menu or anything like that about this is what's on the show? Or
I'll do anything you tell us to do. Genuinely.
Right. What do you do? Top of your show.
I'm going to write this down. I'm genuinely right.
You're going live in 3, Dermot. Bang.
Don't try not to swear.
Welcome to today's Chatterbix.
Whoa, hang on.
Hold on, you speak. How am I meant to write this down if you're?
Whoa! Putting baby in a corner. Time for any of this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, welcome to the show. Did you say? Okay, welcome to the show.
What's coming up?
What's coming up?
Oh yeah, wow! I listened.
What about if you don't know what's coming up?
Rings of cricket. I'll listen to a bit of that later. Yeah, fancy some of that kind of thing.
Okay, this is good stuff. Yeah. Okay, yep.
Yeah.
What's
Did
coming
they do
up?
that on Chris Moyles? Does he do that?
I don't know.
No.
Yeah, but
I tell you, if you do like, I was listening the other day about cricket. You should get Greg James on to talk about it. Greg James would explain cricket to Joe really, really well.
Greg James.
We've got Graham Swan coming on.
Oh, he's very good.
And he's a cricketer.
Yeah.
Well done. Yeah.
Do you know who Jimmy Anderson is, Dermot?
I can't believe you didn't.
Oh, okay.
But it's not he's not an obscure cricketer. He's like one of the bowlers of all time.
Oh, yeah, I had this yesterday. Okay, Google Jimmy Anderson. I'll put that down. Greg James, do you reckon he'll come on?
Yeah, Greg.
Yeah.
He loves us.
We should start a WhatsApp group, the four of us. No, okay.
Don't underestimate your popularity.
Now 42nd in the charts doesn't say.
Hey, write that down, Joe.
What, our popularity? Okay.
Don't underestimate.
Don't underestimate ourselves. Should we mention that and yet?
No.
Yeah.
Today we would not be underestimating it.
That's 58 people less popular than you. That's important.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't think of that. Always looking up rather than down. It's just
Yeah.
Give me some of that Wilco cup half fullness.
Yeah. Actually, that's true. I can be positive, so I will be more positive.
Dear.
This is all good stuff.
By the way, you look like you fish.
Pardon?
You fish?
No,
I fish. I computer fish.
Don't tell him that.
No, all right. I'll email you afterwards.
I don't fish, but I bought my dad a load of fishing stuff, and they gave me a free hat.
Nice hat. I think you should go mackerelling off the south coast or something. I think you'd really enjoy it.
Go mackerelling.
I bought this computer fishing game last week, and I didn't realise, but other people playing it were around the lake. So I just kept walking up to them saying, "Hey, how you doing?" And they all just kept disappearing, going offline.
See, you're annoying online. Rather than just on podcast.
But I did make friends with someone called Football Beast. And we caught some fish together, and anyway.
You just think
What's frightening is that'll stay in. That won't be edited out, Dermot.
Oh, well.
Well, look, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's great.
What are you doing tomorrow? No, too much, fine.
9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Thank you, Dermot.
Thank you, Dermot.
What are you doing now? Not that you need to fucking promote anything on this shit.
Well, I'm actually quite excited because I've written 5 kids books now about my cat. And
have you?
Yeah, my cat's blind. Is she in the room? No, she's not. But she's we realised really early doors she's got these incredible reactions. So she's been blind since birth. She's got like 10% vision. So we started turning her into a little ninja, and so I started creating this idea around her. Around the fact that she's essentially a member of an ancient order of international ninja cats, but an animal. So her boss is Larry, the 10 Downing Street cat. So she's his deputy. So it's about her. And anyway, I finished. I've done 5, and then I sort of had another book on my deal with my publisher, and they said, "Look, do you fancy doing another Toto or something different?" And I had this idea about kind of the same idea about sort of anthropomorphizing sort of animals and I love my history, so I'm writing a book about a swift that comes over in the Second World War to fight in the Battle of Britain from Africa.
Are you doing this on your Todd?
Yeah.
At your desk? How do you find that, writing on your own?
As long as I get my chapter plan sorted, I'm fine. The hardest bit is the start, with my arc, and after that, then I really, really enjoy it.
And how tricky is it writing for children? Are you being helped along the way?
No, I think the key for writing for children is don't write for children, if that makes sense.
Right, yeah.
The key for writing for children is just write what you would like as an 8-year-old or what you would like as a 9-year-old, because 8-year-olds and 9-year-olds, they've got adult sense of humour. You just can't use swear words. So as long as that's sort of, I think that's it. And I never wanted to get talked down to or talked to like I was a kid when I was a kid. So I I guess the knack is to try and keep that innocence, but yet be quite sort of counterintuitive, which we all are, aren't we?
Yeah. It's funny, I heard recently that when you reach your sort of middle age, you start to shed the pretense and you go back to yourself, back to what you were into when you were 10, 11, 12. Yeah. You start caring about that. So, yeah.
I think that you go one of two ways when you get to middle age. Your world either starts to get smaller and you go, these are the things I believe in and everyone else is wrong. Or if you're a lunatic, or you go, well, young people have got an awful lot of things to teach us, and old people have got an awful lot of things, and you meet somewhere in the middle, and you realise that the world isn't black and white, and and we shouldn't really be polarised by whether we want to leave the EU or whether we want to take our vaccines or not. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of like the world isn't like that. The world is sort of nuanced and grey, and actually just a little bit of empathy should go a long way.
That is a wonderful place to end it.
Yeah.
No, it really is.
Yeah, the chill.
No, don't ruin it.
Too late.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Thanks so much,
Dermot,
Dermot, for coming on.
I really enjoyed this morning. Thank you, boys.
That was an absolute pleasure.
And,
Brilliant.
I guess we'll send you Pyramid.
The Pyramid outline, and just mess around with it. Do what you want. Yeah. We've always wanted you for Pyramid. Just it might have someone else's name at the top of the document.
Exactly.
Yeah. But we never really wanted Vernon Kay.
No, exactly. When he turned it down, you were definitely.
Yeah. I was glad he turned it down. Is what I'm saying. So.
Thank you very much, Dermot.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, Dermot.
Have a lovely day.
Yeah. Have a wonderful day. Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
Bye.
Bye.